Hey guys, in this tutorial we'll be seeing an overview of MS Access, how to create a form, what windows are available, how to trigger an event using a button, and such simple examples to start with. Let's get started. So once you open your Access database, like a blank one, all you can see is a blank table with this. This is how it opens by default. The window you see in left will list any access objects you have. Right now, since it's a new one, we have just a sample table. If you create any form, it would list right here. So let's go ahead and create a basic form. So you click on create and then click on blank form. So as you can see, a blank form is displayed for us. So once you have the blank form, if you right click it, you have three different options here. One is the form view. If you click on that, so once we have the buttons in here, it'll be more clear of the difference between these two. Since we have nothing right now, it's pretty much the same between a form view and a layout view. The design view is something which displays with a grid line so that we can align things in a much better way. And so let's get started. Let's add a button or a text box to get started. So as you can see in the design menu, you have several different objects to place in your form. So let's put a text box. So if you click on that, and if you click anywhere on the form, it just places the text box with a default label and a default text box for you to enter your text. So once you double click it, you will have an option to edit the default label of the text box. So let's go ahead and select username. And then once you click anywhere outside, you can see that now we have a blank text box with a label username. So if you want to edit the details of this text box, you can do is click on the text box, right click, go to form properties, and then say okay. So you can see here that this text box is named text 0. And you have a bunch of tabs in here. So a format tab basically says about the borders, how your text box looks, and the data tabs gives you an option to enter some validation rules, if any. So for instance, if username cannot be left blank, then you can ensure that by entering it in the validation rule. And then if you go on to the event, it displays types of events that can be performed on a text box. So you can click on it, you can double click on it. When you change from one text box, if you have another one on a change, what should happen? So Access displays a number of options for events. And if you go to the other text box, here is where you can enter a name for it. So let's go ahead and enter something like text and then say username. So it's always helpful to start the name with the type of the control you're working with. So command buttons can start with CMD, text buttons can start with TXT, such that it's easier while you write the code. It's not that it's mandatory, it's just good to have functionality. And then when you go to all, you will basically have a list of everything which you have seen in the other few tabs. So these are the basic options available for this text box. So let's go ahead and add in command button right now. So a command button is something like an OK, cancel. So it's right here, and you click anywhere in the document. So when you enter a command button, this is given by Access by default, like it helps you to create the command button. But if you know what you're going to do and you don't need the help of a wizard to create a button, then just click cancel, and then you see that it's being aligned inside this little form, and then you see a command for being created. So what you can do is, as usual, just click on it and then say submit, or anything which you want to name your command button as. And then you can say that, okay, go here, and then you have to change the name for this in the other tab and say cmd and submit, and then say okay. So right now, if you just go ahead and see it in the form view, all you can see is a username with the submit button. So it's just a basic form, and I can enter anything in here, say Abby, and then when I click on submit, nothing happens. So why nothing happens is you have to write a code for this event. When you click on submit, what should happen? So for that, right click, go to the design view, click on submit, select it, and then you see on click you have an event procedure. Click on the small three buttons next to it, and then you see you have a Visual Basic application opened for you, and then you can type in anything in here. So right now we are going to create a message box, and inside the message box you're just going to display the text which we have entered before, and we know that our text box name is txt username dot value. So so this is how, now save it, give a form name, say username, and click OK, and then click close it. Now as we can see, we have a text box. Its name is text username. You have a button submit, which is command submit, and which has an event. So let's see if this would trigger yeah. So right now we have a message box which displays the username which is entered. So that's how you create a simple form using Access, and I hope you guys found this tutorial useful. Bye bye.